Today we're checking out the Joyo Gem Box 3. You're about to hear it in the mix, and the drums you're about to hear are actually from this. I push the rhythm button, has a drum machine built in. Let's see how it sounds. Welcome to the channel, folks. My name's Shane. You were listening to the Joyo Gem Box. This is their flagship model. Let's take a look. Here's a pedal up close. Now, the way that this works is, as you can see, we're on 001, which is the actual bank number. If we want to scroll up and down banks, we can scroll up by pushing A and B together, which will go to 2, or B and C, which will go back down. Now, if we click A, that's our A preset. If we click B, that's our B preset, and C, that's our third one. So that works extremely well, and that works the same. So if we scroll back up to number 2, we can then click to whatever ones we set on 2 and so forth. So it works extremely well. The buttons feel really good in the hand as well. Now this has everything from compressors and filters and envelope filters and all kinds of stuff like that through just about every sort of overdrive and distortion that you could possibly want on a pedal as well. It's pretty tough to go through all of these. We have an amp button over here as well, which will allow us to get an amp sim going through this as well. There's just so many different amplifiers you can choose from on here. It's pretty insane, so it should keep you busy for quite some time. In terms of cabs, we have lots of different cabs as well. There's just so many of them. I've picked some of the ones that I think sound the best for this particular video. We also have, though, the ability to change up the mic type and also the mic placement. So if we want to do that, see how it says 1 and 2 on screen? If we want to change the tube type, we can use number 1, sorry, and it will change from 6V6, 6L6, EL84, EL34, and so on. And then we can also change the mic type here as well. It also has an NT1 from Rode. I'm a huge Rode mic fan. And it has lots of different mics as well. And then you can also change the position of the microphone in that virtual world. I think that's pretty cool. We have a noise suppressor gate as well, which is just awesome. You'll hear that in the video. We have all these different ways you can also EQ your sound as well. Lots of modulations, phases. It's got everything, man. It's just got everything. Flanges, jet flanges, tremolo, stutter, vibrato, pitch shift, detune. There's just so much in this particular unit. It really is crazy. We get lots of great delays as well, which is one of the flagship things in this pedal, in my opinion. The delays and reverbs are really cool. We get lots of different delays and lots of different reverbs. A massive thanks to Joyo for sending this out for the review. I really appreciate it. If you want to find out more about this, links will be in the description below. I'll also give you my thoughts and opinions about it at the end of the video as well. Let's get into it. All right, let's get into it. We're going to start with the Gem Box, going direct to the sound card to begin with, and then we'll also try it in one of my amplifiers in just a bit. So let's give this a shot. All of the patches you're about to hear are the ones that I've actually made for this particular video. So these are all custom ones. Don't worry about the name of them. They'll sound different. I'll leave some information on screen on what they're based on. So here we go. This is bridge pickup. Check out this rock and tone. All right. And now over to a clean based on the Fender Twin. Let's go over to neck pickup for this one. Beautiful. And now no pedal board setup that I ever have could be complete without having a Klon pushing a Fender Twin. So let's give this a shot. This is neck pickup, and this is one of those sounds that might sound a bit sort of pokey and nasally on its own, but when you hear it in the context of a mix, it would cook. So here we go. This is neck. And over to bridge. Now that kind of sound really cuts the mix. Let's take a listen. So as you can hear, in the context of a mix, that really cuts through nicely. Now if we go to the second bank of patches that I made, click A and B together, and it will go up, and if you want to go back down to one, you click both of these two, it'll take you back. So this particular 3 patch set I've made is off, clean, dirty, and more drive. So let's try this out. This is neck pickup. And now with some dirt. Man, that's got some serious sustain, and I got some weird pick harmonic right at the end there. And now over to C. This also, I've added a distortion pedal to it, so here we go. It's some of the craziest sustain I've ever had through a unit like this. I was almost getting like oscillation, like a feedback loop. That was pretty sweet. Another way you can run the pedal board is using it as a pedal board going into a real amp. So that's what I got hooked up. I got the Joyo Jackman amplifier on the clean channel going into my Marshall 2x12 box, mic'd up with a Rode M3. And this is the tone of that. No reverb or anything. We're going to leave all the effects to the pedal. Everything on the pedal is currently off. So as you can hear, that's dead dry. That's just the guitar on both pickups going straight into the amp, bypassing all of the effects. Let's try it with some spring reverb now. Let's give this a shot. Sounds pretty good. Now if we want less level, simply turn down number 2 and it'll give us less level. Now if you want to change up the reverb type, we've got lots to choose from: plate, church, hall, room, cave, mod, and back to spring. So let's try room. Let's give this a shot. Let's make that a little bit bigger, so more mix actually, and we'll turn the tone up a bit, which will increase the top end, and maybe also turn up the decay time. Here we go. So making the room sound a little more obvious. And lastly, over to mod reverb, and I've cranked up all the parameters. Let's have a listen to this. I kind of like this one. That's just going straight into the front end of the amp. Totally transforms the vibe. I dig it. Let's take a look at some of the overdrive and distortion effects now as well. And one of the great things about this amp is the noise suppressor is awesome. So anytime you click on some gain, you're gonna get single coil buzz, but you also get that background sort of noise going on. If you hit the noise suppressor, it's gone. How great is that? Alright, and that first one is called Tube Drive, and that's just with the stock parameters. And now over to Screamer number 8. I've also turned the reverb back a little bit as well. This is neck pickup. Alright, there you go. And now over to one called Barbie DD. Let's give this a shot. I have no idea what that stands for. Alright. Over to one called Mouse. This is probably based on the rat. That actually sounds pretty great. Over to one called Fuzz Cake. Let's take a listen. Yeah, all right. And now over to one of my favorite effects of all time, the Boss Metal Zone. Let's try this. It's all I can play with that sort of distortion. And as you heard before, the Klon, but instead of pushing the clean channel, I'm actually going to push the drive channel on the amp now. Let's give this a shot and see how it sounds. So there you go, the reverb just went a little bit crazy, so I've turned that off, but overall that sounds pretty good. This is with the actual clone or Klon off now. And this is with it cranking. Whew, man. Let's try some of the delays now as well. We're still going into the amp and I'm back to the clean channel. Let's give this a shot. Man, that's nice. Over to an analog delay. Let's see how this one sounds. Man, that feels good to play. It's nice and clean. It's got a nice warm sound to it as well. Let's try the tape delay now. Let's give this a shot. I'm just playing really simple and slow stuff so you get a sense of how the delays actually vary. If I was to play a lot of fast notes, it's hard to kind of hear them apart, or to tell them apart. I ordered one called Dynamic. I don't know what this does. Let's give it a go. And these are really nice. I might actually use this to record some new backing track, sort of ambient parts coming up. And if I do that, I'll probably make a video on it because I can already hear how musical the delays and reverbs would be together on this thing. So yeah, I really like this. I think this is some of the best stuff I've heard so far. You can of course change all the subdivisions of where the repeats go and all that kind of stuff, but what I've done right now is just cranked up everything except for the time. Let's crank the time up a little more here. This is the mod delay, so I'm just going to run this pretty much most of the way up. Here we go. It is so clean. It is so clean. It's just a beautifully clean sound here in the room. It sounds fantastic. No buzz, nothing. It just sounds great. Having that noise suppressor or noise gate on there is just a really cool thing. So let me know what you think of that in the comments below. Thanks for watching, guys. My name's Shane. So what do I think of this thing overall? I think as a straight up recording tool, it's great. I was really surprised how great it sounded going into the amplifier as well. I think some of my favorite things about this would be the delays. The noise suppressor is awesome as well, as some of the distortion and overdrive pedals going into the amp worked extremely well. Now, just as a recording tool, you can get some really great tones out of this. A lot of the stock presets weren't great. I was like, I plugged in, I went, ah. So just persist with it. Just find an amp that you really like, go through all the different speaker box combinations until one just clicks and you'll go, ah, that's the sound I really like. And then you can start sort of shaping your sound that way. I think all of these units are best, same with modeling amps and all that kind of stuff. It's always best once you start tweaking them to your ear and what you like. Now, I set up a combination of sounds I would use when I play live, like that Klon on the Twin, for example, and some ones that I just like the sound of in that intro track. I hope you like that as well. So I went for a mix of different sounds. These kind of things, there's so much in here, global EQs, lots of different cabs and mics and mic placements and all that kind of thing. So it's next to impossible to kind of go through everything on this as well. But it has everything that you would need to either start recording at home, listen silently with headphones, or plug into an amp and get some good tones out of it. Now, in terms of the build quality and all that, this thing is built like an absolute tank. It's actually quite heavy. I was surprised just how good it felt. You can, of course, also use the expression pedal as a wah or a volume control as well. Just based on how I was filming this up with it on a chair, it was really tough to sort of showcase that. I like the fact you can kind of store 3 simple patches and then scroll between, or just push buttons to get between them as well. And I also like the fact that all the controls on the front are intuitive to what's going on screen. Now, a couple of times off camera, I kept turning the wrong one because I thought it was next to the actual on-screen illustration of the control, but it was actually the one before it. So sometimes it gets a little confusing. So just look at the number, then find the corresponding number on here. All the buttons feel good. Everything's nice and responsive. This isn't a touch screen or anything like that, but it does come with its own power supply and it's built like a brick. So in terms of these all-in-one units, this definitely delivers some pretty cool things. Now, what are some of the downsides about something like this? It's complex. Now, if you're not into tinkering and fine-tuning sounds, and if you're not into home recording and you probably don't play live, then I don't know if this is for you, to be honest. And when I say don't play live, I mean going straight out of this into a PA system. If you're just looking for something with a couple of really great reverb and delays, this would also be a really great choice. It would, because you can stack them and you can change any number of great digital reverb and delays. That's cool. And now one other limitation, at least to my knowledge from just using it now, I don't think there's any way to stack a second delay or a second overdrive or anything like that in the chain. It's basically push the button once, find the one that you want on that particular setting or button configuration, and then that's it. So there might be some software. I actually tried to download some from the Joyo website. I was unable to find any software at the time of filming, but overall, yeah, I think it's built well and it sounds good. It's just for a very particular person who might want to do some recording or who might need an all-in-one, and you don't want to waste money buying lots of little effects when you can have everything in one. Just remember though, if you're taking something like this and playing it live and it doesn't sound quite right, trying to sort of fix it on the fly can be very frustrating. I've been in that position playing live before where I've taken these type of units out and they sound great through the PA, but if I want to get into it and adjust something, I've got to really know what I'm doing in that moment to do it really quickly at a gig, as opposed to analog effects where you can go down and just crash down and turn something. So yeah, just keep that in mind as well. There's some pros and cons there depending on the type of player you are. Thanks again for watching. My name's Shane. I'll catch you on the next one. See ya.